Hi everyone, and welcome to the history lessons in Wikipedia World. Today we are still continuing with the lessons on life before agriculture. Just like the last lesson, lesson 5, after the overview we did with the previous ones, I want this time to go into a specific example. And the specific example that we're going to look at today is the site of Atapuerca in Spain. Here we're going to have a bit of an overview of tools, burials, and the society. First of all, there's a couple of things. Atapuerca is in the north, in the center north of Spain. You can see it's further up from the capital, Madrid. So if you're ever interested, ever in the area, I do recommend giving this a visit because it's prepared and it's ready for visitors with lots of information, and it's all adapted. It's a great place to go and learn a bit more about our history. I have to say just a couple of quick insights. It was decided it was Patrimony of Humanity from the UNESCO on the 30th of November 2000. So Europe has decided this is really important. One of the great richnesses of Atapuerca is its actual extensive chronology, that it goes back between 1,002,000 and 2,000 years. I know this seems vague, but remember in archaeology and when we're talking prehistorical times, you can't go exact, and the times actually do seem really large, but that's just how chronology works in this period. Also, the stone tools that remain and the remains that we found have been able to help document the technological evolution of humans from the most primitives to modern man. This has aided to date and to organize and see chronologically how evolution has been improving the technology, as we saw in the last lesson. And there has been found what is being considered the oldest remains of the first Europeans. These were not modern humans, but what it has been named in Atapuerca as Homo antecessor. This might be a bit confusing, and we haven't actually got into this in any lesson, so I'll just quickly run you through human evolution. The first we start considering human that starts standing on 2 feet, or our Australopithecus. That's the first ones you see. From there's various stages of evolution that go changing physically and especially in the brain. We have Homo ergaster, then Homo erectus. That's the first one that starts working with tools. We have Homo habilis, and from Homo ergaster, you can see we go up to Homo antecessor. That's the chronology that we're speaking with Atapuerca, and from here we have 2 different species of humans, neanderthals that came from the Heidebergensis, and then we have on the top Homo rhodensis, that then we would have Homo sapiens, modern humans. This is fascinating, and we can have a look in another lesson, but this is just a brief idea so you can know what comes from where and who is first when these names pop up during this lesson. If you want to have a quick look online, it's really easy. Human evolution, and you have all the different species. But let's not just dwell on this. One other thing is that the chronology you'll see that I'm using here and that they use in archaeology in this period is BP Chronology. This means before present. It's not before Christ, after Christ. It's before present. Before present, it's not the year we are now, but 1950s. This is the year that was randomly chosen for the present moment at that time. This is because it's the moment where radiocarbon dating is discovered, and that is how you normally date most ancient discoveries. So BP means before present, present being 1950. That's clear? Great. Now let's really go into the lesson. We're going to see different parts of the Atapuerca site. So we start with, it's really big, so we start with Sima del Elefante, and this is the oldest part of Atapuerca. It took its name from the remains of an elephant that was found there. And this is 50 meters of sediment of human occupation that have given us a spectacular picture of the diversity of the fauna. They've been able to study carnivores, herbivores, micromammals, birds, and even a primate. That is normally not the case. And also we found lots of stone technology that has given the information needed to see how these humans lived. So this is one of the main parts where you had humans living in this area. Then we have Galeria, it's a gallery. This was a natural trap where animals would fall, and then if they were dead or wounded, humans or carnivores would go there and kill them or consume the meat. It's a subterranean gallery with an opening to the exterior in the shape of a chimney. So it was easy to scare some animals that they would run towards there and then they would fall because there was no escape. Here we've confirmed what type of food these humans ate. We have horses, deer, bisons, rhinoceros, and even we know the type of carnivores that were here. Bears, lions, foxes, lynxes, and all of this we know not because we have the remains of the carnivores, like the herbivores, but because of the marks on the bones of these animals. We've found the remains of carnivores in other sites, but here it's basically that we know, well, some animals did fall by mistake, but mainly it's herbivores, and the marks on the bones, it's, for someone who knows, you can determine what animal ate or left those marks. The only human species here are the Homo Heidebergensis, the one after antecessor that became later the Neanderthals. Then we have the Gran Dolina. Here it's 18 meters that we have remains of saber-toothed tiger, hyena, bears, all these competitors that these first humans had for the resources in this environment. We also know, thanks to this, that these first humans came from Africa, and they were actually surrounded by the fauna that was typical from there, or that for us also today is typical from Africa, not Europe, like rhinoceros, like tigers, some types of primates. Here it's also where there's been found the remains of the Homo antecessor with the marks made with stone tools. You remember from the burial lesson? It's this example. There's been found the bones with human teeth marks and marks from stone tools that have given the cannibalism theories. You can see this bone and the marks. Well, we would probably not give that much importance if we don't know that well, but all these little marks are not animal marks. These are stone tool marks, and this is why, it's one of the reasons why there has been all these theories around cannibalism and what type of rituals it would come from. We also have la cima de los huesos. Huesos in Spanish means bones. This is a small chamber at the base of a vertical well of 13 meters inside one of the main caves called Cueva Mayor. Here there's been found the skeletons and the bones of 180 different bears and 5,000 human remains of both sexes and various ages. They are all Homo Heidebergensis. And what is amazing is that here we have about 90% of the register, of worldwide register for this period and this species of human. So it's really complete, it's really important. What it makes this remains so special is how complete the skeletons are, because if you know a bit of anatomy, the human body has lots of bones, lots of small bones, and normally in an archaeological dig you would not find these. They just are destroyed easily. Little animals will take them with them. It's not usual. Here they've been able to find small bones going up to some like the bones in the ear. Wow, this really small, delicate bones that you would never find anywhere else. But we have to say that this area, it's been confirmed that they never had human occupation. This was a place where the remains of the people, the bodies of the dead, were transported. So it's believed that this is the first moment where humans were performing these rituals for the dead. We know this is a ritual for the dead because they're taking the dead bodies of the members of the group into a cave into a whole very specific place where no one lived around, a place where the carnivores and predators would not get to the bodies. And they also have found tools. For example, you can see in the picture, there's a stone tool that was found, a hand axe, that they named actually Excalibur because of its rare and unique materials. It's red calcite and ochre, and this indicates that it was really special. This kind of tools were rare for its material, so actually throwing it in the hole, you can say, oh well, maybe it was a mistake, they were just carrying the body and whoops, it fell. It could be, all theories are possible with this period, but it could also be that they threw it with the body even though it was a very precious tool. It had precious material, really hard to find, and just leaving that shows the appreciation for the dead person. Also, here's a place where they've found pollen from plants. They were able to discover that here there was pollen from different flowers. So not only they brought the bodies to protect them from the wild animals, but they threw flowers, and maybe at the same moment, maybe later on in time, as it's done in many cultures. We don't know, but it's I believe, in my personal opinion, it's a really nice hypothesis. As a curiosity of the things you can find in archaeological digs, we have this skeleton, this head that's been called Miguelon, and thanks to all the things that you can study from a skeleton, from this one in specific, they found that this individual had various hits to the head, but what he did have is a really big infection in one of his teeth. This is a kind of infection that we would normally be able to take out the tooth and that would be the solution. But in those times they didn't know. So the bone deformed itself, and actually it's believed it is probably the cause of his death. And as you can see how technology and studies have advanced so much, at one side you have the skull, and at the other side you have a reproduction of what might have been the face of this individual named at posterity Miguelon, with all his face swollen. And with this little curiosity, we end this lesson on Atapuerca. I really recommend, if you're ever in the area, to just find a day and spend a day there, because it's worth. Well, I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and see you in the next one.